Are we expecting anything?
I'm not sure. I'm going to take my crown off. No, if we are.
When my excitement starts to embarrass Kay when we're in the shops.
Oh no! I was mortified. I don't know.
Broadsword calling daddy boy.
We walked up to the counter and Dan saw the Christmas cakes on the counter. Well, honestly, he was like a 5-year-old. Yes, they've got them. It was like this. And I was like, oh no. I don't think it's the Glenn... I don't know who Glenn Campbell is, apart from an India country and western singer.
Clan Campbell. Did I say Glenn Campbell?
You said Glenn Campbell.
Hey.
Cringing. And then you saw the Christmas coffee. So he was like off on one about the Christmas coffee. I want the beans. She said, oh, do you want ground or beans? Beans!
When I was young, I always used to think that a hosiery store sold hoses.
Hoses.
Yes. This is what I like to call my legacy.
But look.
Welcome, everybody, to the Bakery Bears video show featuring the return of the quiz show just for knitters. Yes, it's Knit or Forfeit.
Yay.
Now then, Kay is the current champion. Mm-hmm. She is the reigning 2019 champion after she was victorious in our bout last year. But this year, it's all to play for once again. Oh yes, because over the next 2 shows, we'll each be doing our round of Knit or Forfeit. At the end of that, we will know who the champion of 2020 is going to be. But that is, of course, all to come later on in the show. Because what a wonderful show we've got in store for you. We've got gorgeous garments, some wonderful colour work, and that's just from me.
I was going to say, I'm not doing either of those.
I know.
So
how exciting is that?
What am I doing?
Well, I don't know. Tease us something wonderful. Oh, that's wonderful.
I've been in a blanket phase. Well, let's face it, when am I not in a blanket phase, really?
Could there not be a more perfect season to be into knitting blankets?
No, absolutely. I think when the weather turns, and it has turned a bit chilly, hasn't it, lately, which has just been lovely.
Thank goodness, because what a 2 weeks we've had.
Have we?
Shall I tell you for why?
Yes.
Because we nearly ran into Superman.
We nearly... Oh, gosh!
Yes.
Not Christopher Reeve, sadly.
Do you know, I mean, look.
I loved him so much.
We just need to put it out there. Just stop it with the Superman business. Because you can't recast.
No.
It would be like trying to redo Jaws and casting someone else as Quint.
No, you just can't recast perfection, can you? And for me...
classic roles.
Yeah, Christopher Reeve is Superman, and there never will be another person. Looking
back through the sort of history of TV and theatre and cinema, there are certain things that you just can't mess with.
Yeah.
And Christopher Reeve as Superman is one of them. The other thing as well that blew it for me with the new Superman film was, okay, then, you know, sacrilege, you're going to do a new Superman. Do not cast out the Superman theme.
Did they really?
Yes.
I haven't seen it because
we have seen it.
Have we?
Yes.
You see what I mean? I've seen it and it's just not even registered on my brain.
When Superman takes off, we all hear the music.
Yeah.
So when that music doesn't appear, it's like, what?
It's just not
crazy
right,
stuff.
Is it?
So look,
but anyway.
Look, let's say we nearly ran into the Duke of Norfolk from the Tudors.
Yeah.
Yes. Henry Cavill.
I know, it just wasn't a filming day, was it?
No, they were clearly preparing.
They were setting up.
Yeah.
We went to Fountains Abbey recently.
Lovely walk. And wasn't it warm?
It was really mild. It was Bryony's birthday recently.
And it poured too.
She's now 15. Can you believe that? And we took her to Fountains Abbey because it's one of her favourite places. And yeah, we got a little bit of weather. It wasn't supposed to rain, and it did for a bit.
Like nothing. No, you're like, oh look, weather's fine.
It did for a bit, and I was like, oh, I can't believe it. Been checking it all week.
That proper sort of
Yeah, it was that really fine rain that totally
That you
soaks
walk
you.
into.
Yeah, it was horrible. But then it stopped just as we were about to have a picnic.
Out comes the sun.
Out comes the sun, and it was like quite warm.
I tried to put my arm around Kate. I put my arm around Kate, and it physically, I was like, ow!
Because I've got a raincoat on, and the sun was on the back of me, and it's like a rubbery sort of material. And it was lovely for me because it was keeping me toasty warm, but it turned quite warm, didn't it? And
Really
the sun shone for our picnic, and
they're there, aren't they? And like it's full on setting up for something big.
We got to Fountains, and the receptionist person said, "Oh, the nave's closed off today because there's a film crew in there." We're like, "Oh."
And that's okay, because it's only a small...
That's okay.
Yeah.
We've been to Fountains dozens of times, so we weren't missing out at all. And we were like, oh, this is exciting.
Is it?
And we walked down there, and there was like big trucks and big lights and cranes.
As soon as you got there, you could just tell this wasn't some sort of historical documentary.
This was a proper thing. It was a big thing. And all in the nave, there was like, we could see in there, and there was banners, big red banners.
You said it looked like something from...
It looked like something from Harry Potter, it's kind of like that medieval look.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a clue what was being filmed. There was no hint.
People coming and going.
People everywhere.
Lights being set up.
But it was really exciting, and we didn't have a clue what they were filming. It was all...
Didn't say anywhere.
No, it didn't say anywhere.
No.
It just was very hush-hush. So when we got back, I looked it up.
Yes, Poirot got on the case.
Yes, it turns out that, it was all like, oh, it's rumoured that, but actually it all fit when we saw what it looked like and everything. I'd not heard of this series, but apparently it's really popular, and it was the filming of the second season of a programme called The Witcher on Netflix. And I think the first season was really popular. Bryony knew what it was. She's got friends that have watched it at school. And Henry Cavill is like the lead person, and we were like, oh,
we can only assume that he is the Witcher.
Yeah, well, I presume so.
All I know
I've
is
never seen
it's some fellow with
it's
long...
some kind of monster hunting medieval-y thing, isn't it?
Yes.
I don't know.
Not our cup of tea at all.
Not really, no. But I would have loved to have seen Henry Cavill. But sadly, they were clearly just setting everything up, so we might have missed him by a day or two, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was really quite cool.
Exciting.
And it's no surprise because, we've obviously been with New Adventures and with Favourite Places in it many times to Fountains Abbey, and really... It's just the most wonderful place.
It's gorgeous, and we love that area, and we used to live in that area, we've said before.
We lived minutes from Fountains Abbey.
Yeah, we lived just a couple of miles down the road from Fountains Abbey for about 2 years before Bryony was born, and it's just such a lovely area. We loved it. I felt really at home there. And so, I said to Dan, I'd love to go back and live there, and you'd love to live back in that area as well. So
it's close to a town called Ripon, and Ripon is just
I love Ripon. It's got really lovely memories for us, because I used to go there when Bryony was a tiny baby, and it's just a lovely, lovely place. And you sang in the church there. You sang in the cathedral when you were young. And
last season we visited Ripon Cathedral in New Adventures.
It's a beautiful town.
Yes.
Technically it's a city, isn't it? Because it's got a cathedral, but it's tiny, it's small, it's not big at all.
It's just lovely.
It's lovely. Cobbled streets and gorgeous. Yeah.
Neil, ladies and gentlemen, I said we've had a pretty special couple of weeks, and we really have, actually. It's been marvellous, hasn't it? And when it's starting to get towards Christmas time, when my excitement starts to embarrass Kay when we're in the shops.
Oh, no! So we were in Northallerton a couple of days ago. We were
in Betty's.
Yeah, we were doing some filming, and we popped into Betty's. We walked up to the counter, and Dan saw the Christmas cakes on the counter. Well, honestly, he was like a 5-year-old. Yes, they've got them. It was like this. And I was like, oh, no. And then, so you were excited about that. And you said, what did you say to the lady? How many have you got? Like this. And she's like, oh, how many do you want? Thinking he was going to say like a dozen or something. He just went, 2. She went, oh, of course we've got 2. Not a problem. I said, I'm really sorry. I felt like I didn't apologise. I didn't say that.
No, she didn't.
But I felt like I should apologise for him, which is an awful thing, isn't it? But
yes.
We were both laughing, and she was laughing. But inside,
I brightened up her day.
Cringing. And then you saw the Christmas coffee. So he was like off on one about the Christmas coffee. I want the beans. She said, oh, do you want ground or beans? Beans!
I walked into that shop not certain they were going to have anything. I was genuinely.
True. It's just such a weird time at the minute. We didn't know.
We all know this year's been awful, and that's the reason why. It's these little things like getting the stuff, which is going to make your festive period special.
We didn't know we'd be able to get those cakes, and we love them so much. And
my excitement.
Yeah, so we got the cakes.
She did successfully manage to calm me down.
And we bought 2 Fat Rascals, didn't we?
That were rubbish.
No, that's unfair. We ate them the next day, and I heated them up because I like to heat them up. Popped them in the oven for a few minutes to warm them through, and I really enjoyed it. And Dan was like, not as good as yours, and not very many currants in there. And it's true, actually.
They have messed with the recipe.
There didn't seem to be as many currants in as normal. It was very plain, plain looking inside. And I've got a lot of experience with Fat Rascals. I've had many over the years.
They were bouncier than any Fat Rascal I've ever.
It did seem spongier somehow than normal, which, it did seem slightly different. But totally ate it with a cup of tea, and it was very enjoyable.
Yes.
And do you know what we didn't get?
We
didn't get the vanilla slices, and we totally should have got 2 vanilla slices.
Yes.
Because it's the best vanilla slices in the world. If you ever go to Betty's, have a vanilla slice. It's like
heaven on a plate.
Absolute heaven, really.
So you can see that our 2 weeks has been really quite exciting. Oh yes, what with Superman and managing to get into Betty's and actually buy some things.
Yeah.
But look, there's way too much excitement to come in today's show, and we've chatted enough because I'm desperate to find out. Kay Jones, what's on your hook?
Exciting.
That wasn't planned.
Right, so yes, what's on my hook? Well, I'm completely addicted, everyone, I've got to tell you, and really all I want to do is work on this, and I've had to work on other things, and I have done that, and this has felt like just such an absolute treat that I had to start another one.
That's the best when you get that feeling.
Had to start another one. But this is my crocheted moss stitch, linen stitch triangle shawl that I'm going to make into a blanket.
That's quite the name, Kay.
This is where I'm up to. Oh, isn't it gorgeous? And I'll show you where I was. I was in this grey section. Can you see this grey here? This is where I was when I last showed you. So I've done all of this, and that's actually quite a lot because it is quite big now. I don't know really, but it's almost my wingspan, look. And just gorgeous. And this one I'm putting in at the moment is from Kelly Lay from Lay Family Yarn. Ages ago, she sent me a bundle of Harry Potter themed mini skeins. Can you remember, Kelly? And I've kind of hoarded them, but I've balled up a couple of them, and I'm going to put them in here. And I've almost finished this whole 20 grams of this one, and it's this. Can you see? It's this one that I'm putting in now, and it's just the most gorgeous speckles. You've got speckles of like purple and turquoise and a neon green and a pink. It's really, really pretty. Can you see how pretty it is? And I've just got this tiny little nugget left, look. And that's, 20 grams. So how many little rows did I get from that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've done 6 and I'm almost done. I might get 7 rows out of a 20 gram mini. Which, when I was way back here at the start, 20 grams would have probably done like all of this, I would imagine. So that's just how much it's grown. And I just love it. And so, I was loving it so much that my idea with this was that I was going to make 2, and then I'm going to seam them together so it forms a square. So I've got a lovely square blanket, but I do want it to be quite big, and I don't really ever want to stop. So I'm just going to keep going and keep going. But I was so excited over it that I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to start the other one. Because this one is kind of, the colours are sort of, they're not all pastels, but it's more subdued with the odd sort of little pop of colour. But it is more sort of subdued, isn't it? And my idea was that the other half would be kind of a contrast to that, so it would be much brighter colours. So I started it the other night, and oh my goodness, I absolutely love it. I will show you in 1 second. But I'm using, it's all fingering weight, so just scraps of fingering weight yarn or minis, that I find. Or sometimes I've broken into a whole skein because I just can't bear not using it. This pink here, can you see the pink I've put in here? That was a gorgeous skein, or is it a gorgeous skein? I've still got most of it left. And I just loved this pink so much, I just had to try it. So I just wound it. I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to do it. And it just felt so decadent just to wind a whole skein just to put a bit into the blanket. But I just thought, do you know what? Why not? It just gave me such joy to do that bit. And I've still got, probably 80 grams of the skein. I can still make a pair of socks with it. It's definitely the year of just doing little things like that to get some enjoyment out of life, isn't it? That's the first one. I'm still, I'm still working on that. But the second one, look how bright and fabulous it is. It's so completely different to the other one. And I love that. I think it's just going to be so fun. When I seam them together, what will happen is... So look, imagine this is the middle, and look, they'll be like that. Do you see what I mean? And I just think it's going to be so fun.
Cool.
So with this one, as you can see, the colours are way brighter. And I started here with some leftovers from a mini skein of something that I've actually made, and I will show you in what's off my needles. But I had a little bit left over, and this was a mini that I dyed. It's in the Goffy colourway. So this was left over, so I used all of that mini. And then I went into, this is another one that I dyed in the Cinderella's ball gown. I made some socks out of that. The Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo socks were knit out of that. And then the brown is leftovers from my Cowboys and Angel shawl. I think this was Life in the Long Grass.
Where is that shawl?
It's upstairs.
All right, ready for you to wear?
Yeah.
Right, cool.
Or you, if you want to wear it. You're totally welcome. And then the yellow, I love this yellow so much. And I dyed this one as well, and this is Time Turner. I had to think of I was doing this. Hermione's Time Turner. This is Time Turner colourway. Oh my goodness, I just love it so much. And I've only got this much left now. So I'm just going to finish this up. So there'll be a really nice chunk of that. And it's really nice just to have two different ones on the go. So, if I fancy just having quicker rows, although with this it doesn't seem to matter to me whether they're long or short, to be honest. But if I fancy quicker rows, then I can do this. Or if I fancy just using bolder colours, then I've been, putting some rows on this one. And I think I'm going to go into, this is another one of mine. This is Fairy Wings.
Yeah. Oh, crumbs.
That's Fairy Wings that I knit my Fairy Wings socks with. I might use that one, or I've also got Clementine, which is similar but much brighter. But I'm definitely going to put in the leftovers from the Dumbrock socks. But I might put that in a bit further down because I've got a brown here. So I might put that bit in a bit further down. So it's just, and I've got this one. This is another one I dyed. This was Pensive. So I'm definitely going to put some of that in there because that's a lovely bright one. Gorgeous. So I'm just absolutely loving it. And I'm using a tutorial that was by Blossom Crochet online on YouTube. Really, really easy to follow. And I couldn't quite remember how to start it when I did the second one. So I just looked it up again, and 2 minutes and I'd got it started and I was away. And I just love it. And I'm just magic knotting when I've got to a new colour. I'm not worried that that's going to be a problem. It's for me, this blanket, so I know there's magic knots in there. I absolutely love it. And I was up early this morning as usual, and I just thought, I should do that and I should do that. And I thought, no, do you know what? I'm just going to work on that. So I did, and I just added some more of this gorgeous yellow in.
I don't know what it makes me, but I can just sort of imagine like a rectangular shaped bit up here, and then casting on some legs down here, and these being the most amazing
pants,
trousers. Can you imagine? They'd be marvellous. There must be knitted trouser patterns out there.
Oh, I think Stephen West's done some.
Yeah, it just looks.
It does look a bit gorgeous. Like a bandana-y type thing, doesn't it?
Oh, and I'm well into the cowboy stuff at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I had a period like that before, but I think I'm more into it even more now.
Right.
But yeah, I think that looks marvellous. And what I love about it the most is, with the greatest respect to crochet, it doesn't really look like crochet.
It doesn't really look like crochet.
And I'm not criticising crochet.
I'll hold it up
that.
close. Look how pretty it is.
I think because it's so different,
Isn't it
makes
gorgeous?
it, or it feels different. Is that just me? Is it?
No,
different?
it does feel very different to, like a granny stripe. I've still got my pink and peachy granny stripe on the go, and I will go back to that. But this, for the minute, this is what I'm absolutely loving. And it's a very simple, very repetitive stitch, but there's just something about it that really appeals to me. And I've not had, touch wood, I've not had any sort of shoulder issues working on this. So whether that's just because it's a slightly different action, because it's a different stitch, I'm not sure. But and I just love the way it looks. I think it looks fantastic and shows off yarns so well. I think it's just, it fascinates me how yarns are going to work up. It's just, I'm absolutely bonkers for it. So I really, if you've never done one of these and you can crochet and you've got a bunch of minis, absolutely, I would say do it now. Go and get some minis and just start one, because I'm sure you won't regret it. And if you've never crocheted before, honestly, it's really simple. It's a great one to start with. I use these lovely clover hooks, and I'm using a 3.75mm for this, because you do need to use a slightly larger hook, I find, than with like a granny stripe. I think it's just because of the density of the stitch pattern. So 3.75mm works perfectly for me, and it just so happens that it's pink. That's a win-win, isn't it, really? I can't see any issues with that whatsoever. So just loving it, and I will just be indulging my, why not? Normally I'm the sort of person that's like, right, okay, I've got to do so much on that one and so much on that one, and I can't allow myself to do too much on that one because that's all that I'll have, and all those kinds of thoughts. But just do it. Just enjoy yourselves. That's what I say. Dan Jones?
Yes.
What's on your needles? Oh, this is marvellous.
It's some colour work. It's the continuation of the pattern, which I can't remember the name of. It's the Christmas cow. It was in...
I don't think I realised it was called that. That's cute.
Well, the great thing about the design is it doesn't specifically look festive. So I think I said before last time I showed it that it's good because you can knit it up and wear it all year. You could wear it any time it's cold. It wouldn't just be something that you're only getting out at Christmas. I've actually finished the first section.
Oh, I think it's fabulous.
And that is the first section. This is with the Tandy yarn from Australia, which feels absolutely marvellous.
Gorgeous.
It's really, really good to work with. It certainly wouldn't be something which I think the majority of people would pick up and go, oh yes, that would be ideal for colour work. But for me, it's perfect for colour work.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a non-superwash. As far as I'm aware, I'm pretty sure it's a non-superwash. But it's not really rustic. It's really soft and gorgeous.
This is one of those yarns which you need to... I'm enjoying working with this because I'm having to use all the techniques which I've developed through the knitting of the Clayoquot with regards to the issue with having yarn dominance. If I wasn't knitting using the techniques which I developed, I would be having a lot of yarn dominance and there would be a lot of issues going on. So because I'm having to work hard to create the lovely fabric, that is giving me loads of joy. And that brings me, back to, I think, what I've said before, and that is I'm really loving the Ridari. And it's great fun, and the yarn is phenomenal. It is, of course, the Let Lopi yarn, and it's tremendous. And it's easy to knit the colour work with, but I enjoy knitting this more than I enjoy knitting that. And it's because I'm having to work a bit harder to get the quality of finish.
It's just brilliant.
Isn't it funny? I think when you work at something and you develop a skill and you sort of get into it and you're really enjoying, having your sort of boundaries pushed a bit and having to work for something, to not have to do that and still get the same finish, I just don't enjoy it quite so much. You can just do it. It doesn't really matter where you put the yarn with the let lopey. You know, you can stick it anywhere and it's always going to lay really flat. So if you're not a proficient colourwork knitter, then get yourself some let lopey and get going. So yeah, it's a really funny situation to be in, because I've obviously got, you know, the ideal colourwork yarn on the go with the Ridari, and I mean, I am right in saying that you wouldn't call this. I'm not being insulting to the yarn by saying it's not ideal colourwork yarn.
I suppose, I don't know really. I mean, it depends what you like. I think traditionally you would go for a more grippy yarn.
And this isn't, is it? Because it's nice and smooth and soft.
No, I mean, it's not. No, it's not. I wouldn't class it as a grippy yarn.
No.
It's multi-plied. It looks like it's either 3 or 4 plies.
Yeah.
It's nice and round.
Yeah.
And it's lovely and smooth. So you wouldn't automatically think of doing colourwork with it, but then it is a non-superwash, so that is to its advantage, I think. And it's a very natural yarn, isn't it? There's no nylon in it or anything like that, because nylon tends to make things slippier.
Yes.
It's just 100% Polwarth, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, Polwarth is just amazing. So here's the ticket, and it really is a ticket.
It is a ticket
Look at
this
that.
time.
Lime mortar. When I see lime mortar, I always think it's not green.
It's not green.
I know, but lime.
Oh, yeah.
I know, you add mortar and that changes everything.
It's lime as in limestone.
Yes. So, I mean, the colours work perfectly
They're
together.
perfect. They're gorgeous colours.
Lime mortar and cider house red.
Red. Yeah, gorgeous.
And I really couldn't talk more positively about Polwarth. It's marvellous.
Oh, it's fantastic stuff. Yeah.
And what does Polwarth come from?
A sheep.
Yeah, is it a Polwarth sheep?
Yeah.
Oh, I sort of want to go and cuddle one. So look, here's a Polwarth sheep. I wish we could see it. Yeah, I want to see it too.
Is it lovely?
You get all the fun. Oh, it'd be terrible if it's not lovely.
Well, it will be lovely. All sheep are lovely.
I want to go hug a Polwarth sheep.
I'm not sure they'd react very well to that, being hugged.
It'd be like Elf. Like, he's like walking up to them.
Yeah,
what is it? Is it a skunk?
No, it's not a skunk. It's a raccoon, isn't
yes,
it?
he's trying to hug the skunk. It's not a skunk, sorry, raccoon. Just brilliant. That reminds me of that show I used to watch when I was a kid. I used to love that show. I've spoken about it before. I can't remember what it's called now, but it was raccoons. It was a family of raccoons. It was a cartoon. Used to watch it every Saturday morning. Those were the days when children's television...
Cartoons on a Saturday.
You used to have to get up early to watch them. And there was like music before they came on.
There was that.
And I remember my brothers used to... I mean,
because the channel wasn't on all the time, was it?
That's right. Who remember?
So it's amazing, really, how things are different in such a short space of time. It really is a short space of time in the grand scheme of things.
It really is.
You know, it's a blip in the universe, and we've gone from TV, you know, only being on at certain times, there only being 2 or 3 channels, and now it's 24 hours a day, there's a bazillion channels.
I also remember when the shops didn't open on a Sunday.
Absolutely, I wish they still didn't, to be honest.
It was such a lovely day.
It was just, yeah, you know, it was that...
Every Sunday, it was sort of like Christmas is now, where the streets were quiet, and it gave everyone the chance to just...
Absolutely,
I agree.
Breathe. I wish they weren't, but I think it's kind of the opposite. I think Sunday's a really busy day on the roads.
Well, it is, isn't it? Because everyone's going out to shop.
Everybody's going to, shops. And, you know, we don't need... well, I don't think we need...
Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
Every day.
No.
Yeah.
Anyway, so look, it's the gorgeous Tandy yarn which we've shown you. It's the Christmas cowl, so it's linked in the show notes on Ravelry, so you know you can see sort of where the pattern came from and who designed it. But it's a lovely pattern. Really enjoying knitting it. Thank you so much to my friend who shared the pattern with me, and I shall show you more next time. Actually, what I'm up to now, and this is what I was going to ask you about, is... It's happened to me a couple of times, and I'm sure there's an easy answer. I just need to learn this. So you get to this point and you knit around, and then on the second round it says increase 4 stitches evenly over the round. So what increase should you do if you're knitting a cowl?
Well, it's stocking stitch, isn't it? Or you could do a couple of... I mean, if you do a knit from back, it produces like a little sort of pearl blip, doesn't it? I would probably do a lifted increase. So effectively like a make one left, for example.
Right.
You know, where you lift the strand.
Right. So that's where you're going in through the back and knitting through the front.
No, that's the right.
Sorry, so you're going in through the front.
You could do either of those, but I always find the left one much easier because you're knitting through the back loop.
Right, okay.
Because that's easier, I find, than going through the front. I always find that one a bit more fiddly.
Cool. What else is on your needles?
I need a sock blocker.
Well, I could give you my foot.
Well, it wouldn't fit.
Oh, sorry. It's not one of my socks.
No.
That's fine, it's fine.
Do you know,
You've given me loads of socks.
I know, I feel really bad because I haven't cast on Dan's second Halloween sock yet, and we're obviously now in November, and I don't know if my sort of enthusiasm has waned a little bit because we're past November, so you never know, it might be next year before you get those.
It's fine.
Because, you know, I kind of want to cast on something else, a different sock for you.
I don't mind.
That's really bad, isn't it? And this is all because I didn't cast on that second sock straight away. If I'd have done that, then it'd have been on the needles and I would have been more inclined to do it, to work on it. It doesn't matter, does it? Like Dan said, you know, he's got dozens of pairs of socks and...
Yes, it's not like I'm short of lovely socks to wear.
No. But this is a pair of socks I've been working on, and I haven't cast on the second one yet for these, but there's a reason, and I'll tell you why. This is a pair of socks that I'm making that will be a pattern, and it'll be my kind of vanilla recipe for a pair of socks. This one hasn't been blocked yet, so it's still got my kind of magic loop crease. It's not a ladder, I get more of a slightly tighter stitch, which always blocks out. I never have a problem, but it does leave like a little crease in the fabric. I'm sure if you know, magic loop knitters out there know what I mean. When you actually when it's blocked and stretched out, it's absolutely perfect. So, but that's what you can see down the sock. So this is the first one. Oh, isn't that yarn just so pretty? And I've done just a couple of little garter ridges up here after the cuff. There's one of my hairs. And then I've put in this contrast heel, which is a mini, it was a 10 gram mini from Kelly again, from Kelly Lay. And I just thought the colour went lovely, and I think it really does. And then I've just kept the rest in this gorgeous speckled. So the yarn I'm using, it's gorgeous, it's gorgeous. Oh, I wish I had about 20 skeins from this dyer, because I've used a couple of hers now, and the speckles are just lovely. I really, really love how she speckles. And it's loom wool, all one word, .co.uk, and she's in Somerset. And this colour is Antiquity, and it's this gorgeous sort of soft lavender with these specks of like a chestnutty brown. Really beautiful, just gorgeous. And this will be a pattern, and I spoke about this before, it's a couple of episodes back, and I wanted to create just my own vanilla sock recipe, but I'll be putting into there about 5 tutorials, I think it is, for all of the techniques that I now use to create the neatest sock that I think I could possibly create. I honestly don't think there's anything else I could do to make it any neater.
Can I just say as well, actually, because there's been some confusion with Bakery Bear patrons, just to confirm that all these techniques are already available to Bakery Bear patrons in Kay's Ultimate Sock series, and also Kay's Sock Knitty You courses.
Yes.
So they're all already available to you. So you've probably already seen them.
Yes.
This is going out for sale for everybody, and the tutorials will be available to everyone who buys the pattern.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for clarifying that. And the reason I haven't cast on the second one is the first tutorial I'm going to show is how I neaten up the jog here that you can get. Do you know where you start at the top, where you sort of cast on? I do a little technique that neatens up that stitch, and it just stops you having that little jog, because as I'm sure you all know, when you are knitting in the round, you are knitting in a spiral, so it's not completely flat like that. You always get that jog. But I do a little something now, and it just completely flattens off that join, so that's why I've not cast on the second one. And this pattern, it'll be out in the new year. It's not something that I'll be getting out sort of this year now. It will probably be January time that this will be out. But I've really loved knitting this, the yarn. It's just, I feel like it's the perfect choice, really, because it's interesting enough, but yet you can still, still clearly see the contrast heel. You can see all the decreases. You can see the lovely umbrella toe. And it's just perfect speckled yarn, I think. I don't think I've ever found one as lovely. The distribution of speckles, it's so nice.
Cool, it's looking great. I particularly like what you've done on the cuff.
Well, I just, it is just a plain sock, but just adding that little bit of garter there, I think it just gives it a bit of, I don't know, it's just a bit of detail and just stops it being completely plain. So that'll be in the pattern how I did that, that's just an extra little something.
So that's super fun, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Cool. So what else am I knitting on? Well, the end is finally nigh, and I'm sort of feeling like the end may well come. Oh my
goodness. Oh really?
At Christmas time.
Oh my gosh.
Which is hilarious.
Amazing.
Because I cast this on at Christmas time.
Oh, did you really?
Not in 2019.
No.
No. In 2018.
Is it 2 years?
It is.
That seems to be how long it takes you to do a garment.
No.
Because I think
that's
it's like
fibs.
that. That's fibs.
Yes. The Clairquot took me 18 months.
Oh, right, okay, sorry.
The Solya took me 16 months.
Right, okay. We're not a million miles away, though, are we?
The Samantha took me 12 months.
Right. Did it really? Only took you 12 months
yes.
to do the Samantha?
And
that was thicker yarn, that one, wasn't it?
Yes. And also, the Irish Coffee also took me 12 months.
Right, okay. So between a year and 2 years. Let's say that. But this one is massively more complicated than anything you've done before.
Ever.
So, it's completely understandable why.
It's fun. It's really fun doing the decreases. I like it.
And we're almost at the point of you wanting a shorter circular now, which is really cool.
Yes, it's the Cascades by Michelle Wong, and it's really fun to knit on because it's like disappearing under a mountain of cables. And there's nothing better.
It's complicated.
There's nothing more rewarding to sit down.
I do like cables.
And to just see before you, just imagine seeing that appear.
Shall I try and hold it in a way
beneath your lovely needles? There's nothing better. It is, for me, the most enjoyable thing about knitting. And it is seeing, I think it's a mental payoff that you get, seeing this gorgeous stuff appearing. And for me, I'm constantly saying, I didn't do that, did I? I think even my lovely daughter Bryony asked me, did you do that?
Did she? Yeah. Did you do that, Dad?
Yes, it's only taken me 2 years. Talk about my... what's the word? During my knitting den, she had a project that she was calling it. She was calling it something specific.
Was she?
Yeah, it was my legacy.
Oh, yes.
I remember she even put out a show that was also called My Legacy, and I think she was knitting something for her daughter.
Yeah, I seem to remember it was some massive cream blanket or shawl or something.
Yes, it was her legacy.
Yeah.
This is my legacy.
Oh, Denise.
This is what I like to call my legacy.
But look, it's almost a total complete jumper look.
Isn't that great? I mean, you can see that the end is nice, and you can also see the reason why I'm saying that I think Christmas is going to be the moment.
The question is, how are we doing for yarn? Let's see. This is all we've got left. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
Well, I think I'm doing fairly good because I'm coming down a lot of stitches.
Yeah, that's the thing. We are decreasing a lot now.
Every other row. And I think at the end of the day, worst case scenario is even if the cuff on the top was different, I think you'd be all right with that.
Different dialogue. Yeah. I think we might be all right. I mean, it'd be really good if we can just squeeze it out, wouldn't it?
Yes. This is the ultimate yarn chicken.
Isn't it lovely? I can't wait to wear it. I think the colour's going to be nice on me. What do you think?
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. Just drop it down a bit.
Yeah, it's about here, isn't it? I think the length is good.
Okay.
Well, where's the underarms? They're sort of here, look.
Right.
The length looks good to me. It feels...
Okay. Well, I mean, worst case scenario.
No, it feels long. No, this is mine. We're not giving it away.
That's really funny.
I could hear what we was going to say.
You could hear what I was working up towards.
What yarn are you using, Dan?
I'm using the Merino Blend DK from King Cole in Skipton.
Skipton?
Yes.
Wow.
Is that by Benningborough or is that a different place?
Is it what?
By Benningborough. Skipton by Benningborough.
Skipton in North Yorkshire.
Is that Skipton by Benningborough?
No, it's just Skipton.
So is Skipton by Benningborough a different place?
I've never heard of that. Where's Skipton by Benningborough?
Well, I know that area reasonably well, and I might be lengthening the name of the actual place.
Well, Skipton is in North Yorkshire because that's where Yarndale is always held.
Yeah.
But a lot of yarn is actually produced in West Yorkshire, isn't it?
Yes.
Is that other place that you said? Is that in West Yorkshire?
I've got no idea. I'm going to need to check.
That's not very helpful, then, is it? But I know there is a lot of yarn that's produced. I've got a feeling. I thought King Cole was like in Wakefield, or is that another big company?
Well, there isn't a Skipton in Wakefield.
No.
So that's enough Yorkshire geography.
Yes.
We'll save that for our Yorkshire geography show. Very interesting.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, thoroughly enjoying it. It is by far, not even close, the best thing I've ever knitted ever for enjoyment and everything. It's just marvellous.
So warm.
And, you know, I'm now
Such a lot of fabric.
right at that point where I'm petrified about what is going to fill this void.
Yeah. Maybe you should try a pieced garment because
Well,
options are much.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have a think. Because, you know, what I need to try and do is I need to try and do things on my own. And, you know, a piece garment, with the greatest respect to me, you're going to be piecing it together.
That is true.
And as much as you say that you don't mind doing that, it's better that I pick something that I can cast on and cast off.
Okay.
And,
well, you know.
and finish. There's got to be other things out there like the Cascades.
Yes,
I bet someone out there knows something.
If anyone knows of something similar to the Cascades that's in the round like that, you don't mind if it's top down or bottom up, do you?
All I'm looking for really is a super challenging cabled jumper.
Nothing. He doesn't like,
dress.
as you know, he doesn't like things that have got a lot of plain knitting going on. You like stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the plain bits in the Radari because the yarn is so interesting. And, you know, I've contradicted myself. I really don't want anyone to think that I do not have a problem with Latlopi yarn. It's phenomenal stuff. It's the most exciting yarn I have ever knit with. Absolutely. Because, you know, it's cheap. It is.
It's cheap.
Come on.
Let's say inexpensive, shall we?
We're all purchasing on a budget, aren't we?
Well, yes, of course we are.
And, you know, it is affordable. It feels like handspun. It knits up great. The only reason why I'm enjoying that Christmas cowl more is just because I spent so much time trying to develop a good colourwork technique. I definitely, so long as it doesn't, I mean, I had a good session knitting on the Radari the other day, and my hands weren't itchy afterwards.
Right.
So I'm really hopeful.
Yeah, at one time it bothered your hands, didn't it, a bit?
Yeah. I mean, it may be that I just need to manage my exposure.
Right, okay.
I have heard from so many people, though, who've said as soon as you wash it, everything changes.
Yeah,
so
I do believe that will be
I'm quite excited about that. I mean, that's a process that perhaps needs capturing,
filming
on the wonders of.
It'll be a into the bath, I think, situation to wash that because it's going to be a bit ginormous.
We should definitely actually put that in in fact, you should instruct me on how to do it because I really should do it. So you instruct me, that'll be fun, and that'll be published as part of my self-contained knitter. But we're getting ahead of ourselves because we are. Well, we are, but I'm making tremendous progress.
It's an Aran weight yarn, isn't it? You know, it's knitting up quick.
It is knitting up quick. And I'm nearly through the body, like really nearly through, just a couple of centimetres off. Then I'll be on to the sleeves. And that's in 3 months. That is quick.
It was quick for you, yeah.
It's quick for you. What else is on your needles?
Well, I've started another blanket because why not?
Because why not?
I just had an urge the other day. I was just thinking, quite fancy doing another blanket and just thinking about what blanket would I want to make, and I just suddenly thought of someone who I'd like to make a blanket for. And this person prefers colours that are richer and more kind of jewel colours, and that's not something that I would normally knit with. So I love knitting with all kinds of colours, but I don't tend to sort of gravitate if it's something for me or Bryony, or I'd probably more gravitate towards softer colours. But because this person prefers richer colours, I thought, oh, well, that'd be great, because I can use all of the kind of yarns that I don't normally use that I've got sort of lying around my stash, and make her something. So I've started, I'm using the kind of template for my burrow blanket, but I've changed things a little bit just to suit her a little bit more. So I've cast on the same number of stitches, but the burrow blanket at the beginning, it's got a range of sort of eyelets. At top and bottom, actually, it's got eyelets, and then the rest is garter. What?
That was so cool.
What?
That was proper Yorkshire.
What did I say?
Top at bottom.
Top and bottom.
Yeah.
Well, I am from Yorkshire.
I know. No, it's great.
I don't know really how you want me not to speak like I'm Yorkshire.
We just need to get you a flat cap.
I think I'd look quite cool in a flat cap.
And one of those walking sticks with a crook in the top.
Oh no, that's a bit much. I'm not a shepherd.
And then I'll wear one of those jackets that we always see in the farm shop that you like, with some jeans.
Yeah, that's not really Yorkshire. That's more posh country fella, isn't it? That's not really Yorkshire, to be fair. I think you've got a little romantic version of what people in Yorkshire wear. So this is where I'm up to anyway. Oh, it looks really nice, doesn't it? Look at the colour. Ooh. So as you can see, I started out in garter, and then I decided, I'm going to switch to stocking stitch, and I'm going to do sort of alternate. No, I wouldn't say alternate. I'm going to do alternate panels of garter and stocking stitch going up, because I love seeing the difference in how the colours look in stocking stitch to garter stitch. I think that's really interesting.
I do too.
And I'm doing the slip stitch edge, which is part of the pattern. You can see it's got this gorgeous I-cord edge, and that's on both sides, because you then actually use that I-cord edge to pick up underneath, and then you knit another panel on this side here. So I'll be doing that. So the only thing really I'm doing differently is I haven't put the eyelets in, and I'm just alternating between garter and stocking stitch. So this design, it uses 3 strands of fingering weight held together and 6mm needles. So it's a brilliant project for all of those little bits of leftovers and mini skeins that you've got lying around. I've started with all these purples in my project bag. I went through my stash and I just pulled out all of the sort of purple themed yarns that I've got. Anything that's got a bit of purple in, I've thrown in there. And every time I run out of one, you can see here I'm just about to run out of this one. I just find the next sort of purple in there and I magic knot them and I carry on. And you just keep doing that, and it produces this sort of graduated effect. You can see it started off here, there's a little bit more pinky, and then this one's slightly different, and then it's gone into something a little bit darker here. And it absolutely eats yarn, so it's a brilliant project for that. And the fabric is really squishy. I've got the original one out there actually. Should I just go and get it?
Absolutely. Of all the blankets that you've knitted, this is by far my favourite.
Yeah, I love it. So this is the original burrow blanket. This is doubled over. So you can see the bottom's got eyelets, and look at those tassels. And then you can see you pick up under that I-cord on either side and knit a little border, and then you've got a picot bind off.
For me, this is the type of thing. I
absolutely love it, and it's so warm. Bryony was using this the other day. So yeah, I love this, and I love the colours. But you can see that the colours that I would normally gravitate towards are more like these pastels. Oh, I think it just looks so gorgeous.
If I was imagining my perfect bedroom, that would be the blanket that would be laid at the foot of my bed.
Yeah, and we could do that. It'd fit. It is. I just love it. I really love this blanket, and especially coming up to Advent season, isn't it? And we all get mini skeins. This would be a great thing. to knit with mini skeins. And you could, if you wanted to, you could hold some mohair with it, or, you know, I want the floofy stuff that you can get, that's Suri alpaca and silk. That's really gorgeous. I think that's softer than mohair, and to have it, you know, bung a strand of that in with it as well, I think just would be fantastic. And I don't know, I think I might put the tassels on. I'm just not sure whether she's a tassel person. I'll have to have a think about that. But that's a little way off anyway. I've not got any deadline plans for this, and nobody knows I'm doing it. The person doesn't know that I'm doing it. So
what are the other yarns that you've got in there?
The other yarns?
Yeah.
Well, these are just all purples. So
these are all the ones that you're going to work into the blanket?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like a yellowy one there as well.
Yeah.
You haven't shown these yet, have you?
Shown them?
You haven't shown them?
Well, I just briefly held them up. But I've just gone through my stash and just pulled out anything that had purple
look at
in
that.
it. I can't remember. I think that... I can't remember what that one was from. It might have been my advent calendar last year.
And that one...
That one, I think, was from the advent calendar last year that I had. But anything that's got sort of purples in. And I've got a ball of this. I love this stuff. It's the Regia... You know, my first Regia, the baby ones that are 25 grams. That'll add a real nice zing of colour, I think, putting that in. But then I also put in some greys as well, because I thought that might be nice. And I've got, leftovers of... This was one that I dyed. It's the Snape colourway, After All This Time. Is that right?
That would make sense.
Yeah, that's what I called it, I think. So I think I'll put some of that in. And then I've got some paler ones as well. Anything really that had purple in. And what I do is I try and make sure that out of the 3 strands, that one of them is kind of a speckled or a variegated, at least one of them. And then you know you're going to get a nice sort of distribution of speckly sort ofness. It won't look too solid, is what I mean. So yeah, I'm just going to pick this up whenever I feel like picking it up, and whenever I finish it, I will just give it to her at that point, not for any occasion or anything like that. I'm just making it for this particular person, and when I've finished it, I will give it to her. And I think that's just a nice feeling, not to have that pressure of like, a birthday, or Christmas, or whatever, you know.
Yeah, and also as well, I think it's lovely to receive these things when it's not your birthday or Christmas.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Sort of a nice,
it's more
goodness.
It's more of, I think it's got a bit more meaning, hasn't it? If somebody just says, I've made you this, and just gives it to you on just a normal day.
Yeah.
I think I would just be absolutely bowled over.
Yeah.
Because you kind of expect things, don't you, at Christmas and your birthday?
Yeah.
But not just on a random day in June or whatever.
No.
Unless your birthday is in June, of course.
A random day in June.
Random day.
Right. This is it. Finally, it's time for the return of Knit or Forfeit. It is the moment when we're going to find out who the champion of 2020 is going to be. Now, who is going to win the illustrious crown? There's only one way that we can possibly find out. So, without further ado, I think it's time that we ring the bell, ding ding, as we signify the beginning of round 1 of Knit or Forfeit. It's 10 questions, 6 about knitting and 4 about Christmas. Is it the tartan of Glen Campbell from Western? But we have 3 lifelines.
Okay, I'm going to ask Instagram.
She's pushing the button, ladies and gentlemen. The winner will be crowned champion of 2020, and they'll receive this jewel-encrusted crown. Yes, she is! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. Yes, Knit or Forfeit is back. Now, last year, in an epic battle, Kay and I went for it absolutely on 4 rounds of wonderful Knit or Forfeit, and she was victorious. But the moment has come for her to defend her crown. Oh yes, so November is going to be Knit or Forfeit month. Over the next 2 episodes, we're each going to play, for the first time ever in the history of Knit or Forfeit, just 1 round each. It's an epic battle of champions, and at the end of each round we will have a score, and whoever scores the most over the 2 rounds will be the winner. Now, what are these questions all about? Well, I shall tell you. 6 are all about knitting, because this is, of course, the quiz show just for knitters. But as we approach the wonderful time that is Christmas, we thought it only right that we have 4 questions all about Christmas. So it's 10 questions in total for each of us. Neil, we also have 3 lifelines. We have Ask Instagram, we have Message a Friend, and we have 50-50. But in the result of a tie, whoever has used the least of those lifelines will be crowned the winner. There's also one extra little twist. These are multiple choice questions, but if we choose to go for the answer without hearing those multiple choice answers, then instead of just getting 1 point, we get 2. So I think it's time for us to meet the rather wonderful defender of her crown. Oh yes, it's the lovely Kay Jones. She's looking marvellous in her crown.
Do you like my crown?
It's jewel encrusted.
It's jewel encrusted. Look.
I think you'll agree this is quite the perfect thing for the winner to receive.
If you think I'm giving up this crown,
you've got another thing coming.
Yes.
Can I just say as well that for the first time ever in the history of Knit or Forfeit, you have purchased a dress specifically for the show.
I have. I don't do dresses.
But this one, I have to say, looks particularly fetching.
It's an acceptable dress.
Do you not think that we could venture out?
I don't know. It's a bit plain, isn't it?
No,
really?
it isn't.
I feel like it needs something around here. I don't do jewellery really.
It looks
at
perfect.
all. I'm not a jewellery person.
I think when you've got your hair like this, that is your something around here.
All right. Okay.
It's lovely.
Okay.
It is sort of sparkly.
It's a little bit. You can't tell, but it is a little bit sparkly.
We could go to the Albert Hall for a last night of the proms in this get-up.
There's a bit of fluff there.
I might just need to change my jeans, though.
Oh, yeah.
Shh.
Don't tell anyone.
Say nothing at casual. Although you said it looked quite nice.
I do like the whole, jeans and a sort of smart jacket look. Not necessarily a dinner jacket. It's a little bit much, but,
Thank you for drawing attention to the dinner jacket, because, yes, over the next 2 shows, the only 2 shows of Knit or Forfeit that we're going to have in this series, I'm going to wear each of my lovely dinner jackets. And I'm starting with the old favourite. Yes, purchased for me when I was about 19, and it's... Don't even start. We do this bit every year. You know it fits me perfectly.
It does still fit. Your cuffs are not proper. You need to just pull those out a little bit like that. There we go.
Yes, every show that I ever did, so this has been in theatres up and down the country, I was wearing this dinner jacket.
Yeah.
It has very special meaning for me, this one.
You do look well in a dinner jacket.
You're very kind. Thank you very much. So today I am the question master, and Kay will be answering her questions. And we know when the competition begins because we hear a sound like this. We know when the competition ends because we hear a sound like this. So, the defender of the crown, do you think you're ready for us to begin?
I'm as ready as I ever
This rather
will
wonderful
be.
round of Knit or Forfeit.
Yes.
Yes? Are you ready at home?
Let's go for it.
Then let's play Knit or Forfeit. Who's going to win? It's time to
I'm
find out.
going to get 20.
We're going to start very simply.
Oh.
Knitting is similar to what ancient practice?
Right. I might know.
I won't take an answer until Kay... Well, I'll always say final answer. So you can, talk out loud and I won't...
Well, if I was going to hazard a guess, I would say... I'm not sure how you say it. I'm not quite sure how to say it, but is it nalbinding? Is that how you say it? I think that's the... When they found those really ancient... They were like socks, weren't they, in Egypt? I think they were made using nalbinding. I might be saying it wrong. Oh, but dare I risk, really, on the first question? No, I'm going to go multiple choice.
I think that's a good idea.
Oh, because that's not the answer then.
Okay. Here are the multiple choice answers.
Okay.
Is it weaving?
No.
Is it rainbow loom? Is it quilting?
No.
Or is it cross stitch?
Oh, gosh. It's not nalbinding then. Well, it's certainly not quilting or cross-stitch. Maybe it's weaving. Weaving and rainbow loom? Well, I don't know what rainbow loom is. Well, it's not cross-stitch and it's not quilting. Because they're nothing like knitting. I suppose weaving's not really like knitting, but I mean, rainbow loom, that's indicating that it's something done on a loom, which means it's kind of a weaving thing, isn't it? I'll go weaving.
Is that your final
Weaving,
answer?
final answer.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay, it's locked in. There's no going back now, folks. Has she started the defence of her crown with a point up in the sky in the bank there? Yes, she has! Woohoo!
I don't think it's like weaving.
I think what I mean is like basket weaving, you know, like the crosses, you know, when you're weaving things.
I know what weaving is.
Yeah. Well done. Oh, yes, what a start for the defence.
One on the board.
One on the board. Are you ready for your second question? Okay. Are you ready at home? Play along at home, you must do. I'd love to know what your score is. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Here we go. What type of clothing is it commonly thought that knitting was developed to make?
My first thought is like stockings for some reason.
Right.
Because I know that they've been knitted, haven't they, for a long, long time. A few hundred years. But I'm not certain, so I'll go with multiple choice.
Okay, it's time for the multiple choice answers. So your choices are gloves, socks and hosiery, hats, undergarments.
I don't think it can be hats, really. But I know that a question we've had before, the answer was hats, wasn't it? I can't remember what the question was. Something to do with hats. I don't think it can be hats, though. I don't think it's gloves, because I think gloves were more commonly made out of sort of fabric and leather and things, weren't they? You see, I mean, I did say tights, didn't I? Which would be the hosiery thing, socks and... Oh, gosh, I don't really know, and I don't... Oh, go 50-50!
You sure?
Yes.
Okay. She's using her first lifeline. Oh, yes, it's time for me to take away...
It's not very good, is it?
It's all right. It's time for me to take away 2 wrong answers and leave 2 potentially correct answers. Are you ready to see your 50-50 answers?
Okay.
So your choices are socks and hosiery or undergarments.
Undergarments. You see, back in the day, people didn't, years and years back, they didn't really wear undergarments, did they? And then when they did, they were those more sort of loose-fitting bloomery things, and they're made out of sort of cotton, aren't they? Fabric. I can't imagine it's undergarments. I'm going to go with what my gut was originally and say socks and hosiery.
Okay.
Final answer.
Final answer?
Yeah.
It's locked in, baby.
Yeah.
There's no going back now. So is she correct? Does she have 2 points on the board? Well, she does! It is in fact socks and hosiery, and the things that have come up before, you're exactly right. We have spoken about the sort of roots of knitting before, and I think the earliest... I mean, actually, there was a thing, the earliest fragment, I think, wasn't part of a sock, but socks were found in Egypt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tricky.
Tricky. Yes.
Okay, it's time for question 3.
Okay.
When we knit, we create a fabric which consists of vertical columns and horizontal rows of stitches.
Yes.
What is the common name of the vertical columns?
The common name of the vertical columns.
Yeah. I know, I had no idea about this either.
I've literally no idea. I didn't know it had a common name.
Yeah.
So all the V's went down.
Yeah.
Not a clue.
Okay, so you'd like to hear.
Well, I'm going to have to hear.
Okay, here we go. So the possible answers are shale, whale, tail, or nail.
Well, let's discount nail because that's spelt differently. All the others are similar, so you've probably thrown in 2 that look very similar to confuse me, I would say. I don't understand the context of any of these answers. Why would it be any of those? I mean, there is a stitch pattern called Old Shale, isn't there? But that's because it looks like, shale on a beach, presumably. It's that wavy one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whale, W-A-L-E. I've never heard of that word. I mean, I have literally no idea. How can there be a question about knitting that I've
I've got to say,
no idea?
When I saw this, I was absolutely stunned, and I actually went and
this
Googled it.
This is a true thing.
Yes, I googled it in a few different places. It's like it's the rudimentary elements of knitting. You know, it's like the notes in music. That's a crochet. That's a quaver.
I think I'd stand better with a music question.
We have columns of and rows of.
So what do the V-stitches look like? Maybe that's a hint. I suppose it could be the tail of a fish, couldn't it? Because that is that shape. I've never seen whale, but you see that whale one makes me sort of gravitate towards it because it's spelt so differently. You know, why would it be spelt like that? I'm just gonna take a stab in the dark and say whale.
Okay. It's locked in, baby.
Okay.
There is no going back now.
Okay.
Has she, using her years
No.
of knitting experience and knowledge, somehow come up with the right answer? Unfortunately, she has!
Oh, get off! Really?
Yes, it's Wales.
Whale?
Yes.
So where does that come from?
I've got no idea.
Oh, well, that's helpful.
I'm really sorry.
You could have at least, had extra bit of information for us.
You should look that up. You should look that up at home.
Columns of whales.
Yeah. So the whales are the ones that go up, and of course I know. Of course I know the ones that run across horizontally.
Yes.
Yes. They're called courses. So your stitches that run across are the courses, and as you knit up and you create your fabric, you're creating whales. Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
Because you now have 3.
3 out of 3.
Yes, and you've only used 1 lifeline. You're doing well. Okay, here we go. Are you ready for question 4?
Yes.
It's time for a picture question.
Oh, good.
Woohoo, we love a picture question.
Where's the picture?
Okay, here we go. Take a look at this handsome devil. I'll scroll it down a bit more in a minute so you can see his face. He has a broad muzzle, a slight Roman nose. He's hornless, and he has no wool on his head or legs.
Wow.
What breed of sheep is he?
Wow, he's strange, isn't he?
What do you think of him?
He's an odd-looking fellow, isn't he, that one? Okay.
Would you like
Yes,
some
I don't.
answers?
I've obviously no idea, so...
Okay. Your choices are, is he a Suffolk? Is he a blue Texel? Is he a blue-faced Leicester?
No.
Or is he a Beltex?
I feel like it's something to do with the blue, because he does have a slight blue... Don't you think he looks a bit blue? Oh, it's more grey, but, that might be seen as blue. I have honestly no idea, and maybe this is one I should ask the audience about, actually.
Okay.
Because I can put up a picture, can't I?
You can.
How would I do that?
By taking a picture.
Of that?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to ask Instagram.
She's pushing the button, ladies and gentlemen. She's using another lifeline. What we do with our Ask Instagram is Kate posts a picture on her Instagram feed. She then throws it open to the world to suggest an answer. And then Kay has the choice of either going with that answer that the majority of the people suggest on Instagram, or forgetting what they say and picking something completely of her own choice. So she'll post a picture and we'll then return to that question at the end of the show. Okay, so Instagram has been asked, and it's time for us to crack on with question number 5. Okay, whose band had a popular song in the 1940s called Knit 1, Purl 2, telling the story of a woman knitting a sweater for her husband who's fighting in World War II?
Well, needless to say, I have absolutely no clue.
So remember what type of bands were around back then?
Yes.
They were dance bands.
Glenn Miller.
Okay, right. So, are you ready for your multiple choice answers?
Yes.
Or you don't want to go for it, do you?
What, you're telling me that it might be Glenn Miller?
No, I'm just asking you if you want to go for it.
That's the only one that springs to mind. I love Glenn Miller. No, don't know. Give me the answers.
Okay, right. So the question was, whose band had a popular song in the 1940s called Knit 1, Purl 2, telling the story of a woman knitting a sweater for her husband who's fighting in World War II? Here are the potential answers. Was it Count Basie and his orchestra? Was it Doris Day and the Les Brown Band?
Wow.
Was it the Tommy Dorsey Orchestra? Or was it Glenn Miller?
No.
All amazing bands, I've got to say.
Yeah.
Because, of course, the Tommy Dorsey Orchestra was who Frank Sinatra sang with.
Right.
I never knew that Doris Day's band was called the Les Brown Band.
No.
Les Brown sounds like a real dude.
Gosh, how old would Doris Day have been then in the 1940s? Yep. Yeah. You know, but I shouted out Glenn Miller, didn't I? I mean, I've no idea, so I might as well say Glenn Miller as any of the others.
Sure.
Yeah, well, yeah, why not?
Okay.
Why not?
We're locking it in, people. She can't go back now. So the question you're all wondering is she correct? Does she go to 4 points? Well, you're going to have to come back in part 2 to find out. Oh no, what an amazing start to Kay's round. She's doing exceptionally well. She's got one question hanging out there with Ask Instagram. So far she's got everything right, so really well done. And when we come back in part 2, we'll find out if she's correct with her answer of Glenn Miller. We'll see you then. What a start! Oh my goodness, talk about a cliffhanger. Will it be Glenn Miller? Don't know what you're dancing for, you're only on 4 points.
Well, I think I'm doing pretty well.
Oh no, I don't even think you're on 4 points. You're on 3.
Just demean my efforts,
Calm yourself.
Don't you?
Yes, she has had a very good start. And what a great song. Knit 1, Purl 2.
I know.
Now you can all go away and you can find out if she's right or if she's wrong, can't you?
That's
Before we
true.
come back.
Yeah,
Don't do that, you'll spoil the fun.
Don't spoil it.
Hey, and who would have thought that about whales and courses?
I know.
I mean, unbelievable.
Never heard of that. I'm sure some of you out there will have, but I'd never heard of it.
I was gobsmacked. And to be honest, when I saw it, I thought, I'm an idiot. You'll know this.
No, not a clue.
Just shocking, isn't it? No. My goodness.
Just shows, doesn't it, you know? You think you know a bit about something and actually you don't at all.
I know. And I think right the way through the year, there are things that sort of, you do, traditions, if you like, and we all do them. We all have them, in our lives. And for me, Knit or Forfeit, over the last couple of years, it's become that sort of key moment that leads us into that build-up to Christmas. And as that build-up begins, we naturally start to listen to Christmas music. And it can never be too early, especially not this year.
No. Do you know, I've seen people who are like, oh, is it too early to put my decorations up?
Well,
and normally I would say we're not doing any of that.
This year, you.
If you want to put your decorations up,
go ahead.
Go and do it, I say.
What we've done is we've got out the music.
We have.
And we've started listening to stuff. And let me tell you, we've had a bit of a shock.
Oh.
Yes, because I found we like to listen to theme music from stuff, so soundtracks and all of that, and I found Downton Abbey music, so we've been listening to a bit of that, and then I found Christmas at Downton Abbey, and then you discovered that Cora was singing a couple of
Elizabeth
the songs.
McGovern sings a couple of the songs.
Who, of course, is a folk singer, and I think is quite a successful folk singer in America. But then we just happened to realise the other day there's this amazing sort of tenor baritone singing. It was like amazing, and
fantastic
you're like,
voice.
oh my goodness, who is this? Well, it only turns out to be
it's Charles Blake. If you're a Downton fan, you know full well who Charles Blake is. And me and Bryony love him. We always say that we think Lady Mary should have married him, really. Because I couldn't see, he's a handsome fella, he's really nice, and turns out he sings like an angel.
Well, it turns out his career actually has mainly been on Broadway and the West End, and it's only as he's got older that he's ended up going into TV roles.
He was born in Sheffield, my hometown, and he's just a few years younger than me. I said to Dan I might have known him. I didn't.
when you sort of say that he's really good, if you look back through the last 10 years, the orchestra which has always picks the best singers to sing with them is the John Wilson Orchestra. So they've had people like Seth MacFarlane and Curtis Stigers and, a whole sort of raft of amazing singers John Wilson has selected to come and sing with his amazing orchestra. Well, of course, Julian Ovenden, it turns out that he was one of the people that John Wilson had selected. So there's performances with him at the proms and all over the place, actually, doing some amazing stuff.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Oklahoma sang Oh What a Beautiful Morning from Oklahoma at the proms, and it's just tremendous.
Amazing.
Really great.
Go and Google him. Julian, I don't know if it's Ovenden or Ovenden.
Yeah. They don't need to Google it, because it is, of course,
linked.
in the show notes below.
It's linked. Go check him out.
There you go.
Just a fantastic voice. And that album, the Christmas at Downton Abbey album, it's gorgeous.
If you haven't listened to it, I'd give it a go.
Absolutely give it a go. It's really lovely.
Because it is absolutely tremendous.
Yeah.
Now, Knit or Forfeit will be back later on in the show. We will find out who wrote and performed Knit 1 Pearl 2. But before then, there is some wonderful things sat before me on the table. So I think it's time that we ask Kate Jones, what's off your needles?
I have finished a couple of things, and I'm just pulling the hair out of that one. You'll all be thrilled to hear, and I'm the most thrilled to know that this is finished. I've finished The Little Grey Hat. That's what I'm going to call it, The Little Grey Hat. Did anybody read those books?
It sounds like a TV show, doesn't it, Little Grey Hat?
Yeah.
Or a book.
There was the Old Grey Whistle Test. What was that?
With Whispering Bob. I can't remember his surname. Oh, I think he's died now, sadly.
I never watched it, but I do remember it being on the telly. It was late at night, wasn't it?
The Old Grey Whistle Test was a music show that used to, bands would perform on it, and they were always quite sort of edgy, cool bands.
Right.
And I think it was the 70s that it was sort of at its height. But then he was around. Oh, I wish I could remember his surname. I feel bad that I can't. But he used to be on the radio up until when I was out doing functions band work, early in our relationship, I'd be coming home and I'd have the radio on and it would always be him.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, it makes me think of, what was that series of books? Was it Little Grey Rabbit? Alison Utley, wasn't it? I used to read those when I was young. Gorgeous illustrations. But yes, I finished The Little Grey Hat.
Woo! Well done, you.
And it's such a small thing, isn't it? But it feels like such a massive achievement. This was the one that I was moaning about last time with the Holstgarn Coast in silver grey.
She's done 2 parts of a review, and the third part is now going to be on its way.
Yeah, now I've finished it and washed it and blocked it. And I used about half a skein, I reckon, of that. And there's 350 metres in the skein, so that seems about right. I'd say I've probably used about half. And it's just produced this lovely little hat. And
I think it's perfect.
I'll pop it on, but I have washed and blocked this, and to be honest, it doesn't feel that much different to how it felt before. And when I washed it, there wasn't really any sort of residue in the water that I could see.
Right.
There must have been some spinning oils in there, but it wasn't. It doesn't feel really that much different. It's very soft. So let's just pop it on. Oh, I've got a high ponytail, so it'll look a little bit weird. Well, that definitely looks a little bit weird. It's just a little beanie. Hang on, that's not quite right. Is that about right?
For what you want that for, that's perfect. You wanted something.
The crown decreases are cute, aren't they? Can you see them?
This is something to keep your hair in check.
It's just really to stop my fringe going frizzy when I'm out for a walk. It feels quite warm, actually, to say that it's such lightweight, and it's like 55 lamb's wool, 45% cotton.
Right.
But I think it'll be perfect for what I want it for.
Yeah.
Just a little. Now my fringe looks bizarre.
Oh, you silly.
Oh, I'll be faffing now, won't it? It matches my top, you see. I'm fairly coordinated today, aren't I?
Beautiful.
So I haven't worn this out yet, but I will now. I've shown you.
It's lovely.
But yeah, just a little beanie. And I could have made it a bit more slouchy, I suppose, but
I don't think that's what you were aspiring to.
I really had to be done with it.
You want something to fulfill a job.
Yeah. All I wanted to do really is to stop my hair going like a frizz ball when it's damp outside, damp and sort of a little bit cool. And it'll be perfect for that.
It will. So make sure you wear it.
Well, I will wear it. And
After the pain.
of knitting it, I know, I just did not enjoy knitting it as I whinged on about last time. It's just plain knitting like that is just not my thing. But I'm really glad I finished it, because now it'll be, like Dan said, just the perfect thing to wear, in the morning when I'm out for my walks. And I love the fabric that is produced. I think it would make a fantastic garment, a lightweight garment. I would never knit one because, the gauge, because it's such a fine yarn, I think it would take forever. But I know a lot of people who have knit garments in this, and I think they would be absolutely gorgeous. So well done to you if you've knit garments in this, my goodness. But then, of course, stocking stitch in the round might be your thing, and you might absolutely love it.
Yeah. Look.
So that's all done.
We're not interested in that hat.
Yes.
Because there's cuteness to come.
Oh, look, let me take her scarf off first.
You're not going to believe this.
Well,
because you've cast this on and cast this off.
Yeah.
Since we last saw you.
I have. So you all know that Bryony's got a giraffe called Goffy, and she's actually got two Goffies. One is the original one, which a few years ago, it's 3 years ago actually, I looked it up. I knit her a little cardigan, if you remember, with a really long neck. Just to protect her a bit, because she was getting very threadbare, and she is very threadbare. But it's worked brilliantly, that cardigan, and it really has, I think, protected that area that was most vulnerable, because the fabric was so thin. She really needs to go off to the Bear Ladies in the repair shop, but, that'll never happen. I don't think Bryony would ever let it out of her sight, let her out of her sight. So the time had come really for Goffy 2 to have a cardigan, because she was also starting to look a little bit threadbare. She's much more younger version, but she was also getting a bit threadbare. And I found in my stash a 20 gram mini of the Goffy colourway that I'd dyed up ages ago. It's when I was looking through for those purple yarns, I think I found that, and I thought, I'll use that for something. And then thought, well, I'll knit Goffy a cardigan. And as I did for the first cardigan, I used the pattern that's part of my Miss Gelato giraffe design. There's a cardigan that you can knit for her, and I used exactly that pattern. The only difference is I went down a needle size, so I used 2.75mm, and I just knit a really long neck before I started the pattern, effectively, before I went into the pattern, and it's worked out great. And here's Goffy. Oh, hello. I'm going to hold her neck up because it does have a tendency to flop, but look, here she is. Does she look smart? Let's turn around. Oh, look. And she loves it. And Bryony was so thrilled. I gave her back and I put it on, and I said, there we go. So I said, do you think Goffy loves it? And she went, Goffy loves it. She is sweet about it. But look at the yarn, so sweet. And it is a little bit brighter than actually Goffy is. But, I think it's there. And I put all these little buttons on, look.
It's gorgeous,
to keep
Mummy.
It in place. I know. So I'm really pleased with that. And Goffy's got this scarf that I made her ages ago that's really pilly and gross now, but Bryony won't let me part with it. So I have to put that back on top of the beautifully new and gorgeous cardigan. She now has this very shabby scarf, but that also does help sort of stabilise her neck, because poor Goffs. And Goffy is a girl. It's funny, I've had a few comments the last time I spoke about Goffy saying, and people's like, oh gosh, I always thought Goffy was a boy. Goffy's a girl. And to be honest, I think the company would have probably thought it was a boy as well. It's from Happy Horse, which I think is a Dutch company.
Yeah.
And to me, I still make the mistake now and say he, and Bryony jumps straight on me and she's like, Goffy's a girl. I'm like, right, okay, Goffy's a girl. But she loves her cardigan, and it just worked perfectly.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
Thanks, Goffs. You can sit there and keep an eye on us.
It's absolutely gorgeous. There's nothing better, I think, than doing something like that, because what it does is it preserves the life of something unbelievably special.
It does, and it is a worry, isn't it, when your children and grandchildren, they love these precious toys and they just start to get really sort of worryingly threadbare. And that now, I know that now will sort of help her.
Because we know it's worked with Goffy 1.
Yeah, she's still going Goffy 1, although she's very scruffy these days. I need to do the bear lady thing off the repair shop when they're surface cleaning. I've seen what they do, and I actually bought some soap flakes.
Right.
To give it a go. And what they do is they make some soap flakes up and they just use the suds. They like scoop off the suds and pat that onto the surface and then just use a really soft cotton cloth just to sort of damp it off. So I need to do that with Goffy 1. She's a disgrace.
Folks, I don't know about you, but I can't wait to find out if Kay's right with her answer of Glenn Miller.
What do you think?
So, without further ado, I think it's time that we headed back to find out what our final score will be as we head back for more Knittle Forfeit. Welcome back, everybody. The tension is absolutely palpable here.
I know, and he didn't even let me get a cup of tea.
Oh, that's so shocking. So, the question was, whose band had a popular song in the 1940s called Knit One, Purl Two, telling the story of a woman knitting a sweater for her husband who's fighting in World War II?
And that's dedication if she's knit the whole sweater and knit one purl two, isn't it?
I know. Now, Kay superbly guessed that the answer might be Glenn Miller before she heard the multiple choice answers. I did ask her, would you like to go for it? She said no.
Oh, no.
Was she correct with Glenn Miller? She was!
I should have just...
So she gets 1 point, baby. Kay goes to 4. She's got 1 on hold, so you might be on 5. You might be doing tremendously well here.
I might be.
Okay.
If you Instagrammers do a bit of research for me, tell me what that sheep is.
Okay. It's time for question number 6.
So this is the last knitting question.
The last knitting question.
Right.
After this, we get on to the Christmas questions.
Which I stand more of a chance on, I think, by these. Well, I'm doing okay guessing, aren't I?
Great.
Maybe it's my lucky day.
You're doing great. Okay, question 6. After the First World War, Argyle knitwear became fashionable in Great Britain and the USA, and to this day is popularised by Pringle of Scotland.
Yeah.
But what inspired the original Argyle design?
I mean, I see sort of golf wear is the most sort of thing that jumps into your head, isn't it, when you think of...
And it's all Pringle.
It's all Pringle golf wear and like your +4s and Argyle tops.
That's exactly right.
But what inspired it, I don't know. I'll have to have the multiples, please.
Okay, so here are the multiple choice answers. Is it a favourite sweater worn by Edward VIII, the abdicated King of England? Is it the tartan of Glen Campbell from Western Scotland? Is it Gansey sweater motifs popular in Scottish villages? Or is it a sweater knitted by Mr. Pringle's mother?
Well, I mean, I laughed at the last one.
Mr. Pringle, Mr. Pringle!
Oh, yeah. Postman Pat, if anybody's that way inclined and likes to watch Postman Pat. I don't think it's the I don't know who Glen Campbell is, apart from into a country and western singer.
Clan Campbell. Did I say Glen Campbell?
You said Glen Campbell twice.
Is it the tartan of Clan Campbell from Western Scotland?
I'm just thinking, what's Glen Campbell got to do with it? Why would a country and western singer wear Argyle?
What am I talking about? Is it the tartan of Clan Campbell from Western Scotland?
Okay.
That makes a lot more sense now.
It makes a lot more sense, but I don't think it would be that, because Argyle is like diamonds, isn't it? And tartan is squares. I've only ever seen tartan in squares, not in diamonds. So I would say it's, if I'm guessing, I don't think it would be that one, but I don't know. A jumper knit by Mrs. Pringle, I don't think that would be it. I mean, things did become popular because, as they do now, because somebody sees someone wearing them and they want them. So that one I'm leaning towards, but I mean, when did he abdicate? I want to go with the abdicated.
Okay.
Yes.
You sure?
Yes. Let's go with.
So we're locking
Edward.
in.
Let's go with. Is it Edward? Yeah.
Yes. Is she right? No, she isn't.
No.
Oh no. I'm
Don't
so
tell
sorry.
me it's Mrs. Pringle knitting a jumper.
I wish it was.
Yeah.
It would be marvellous if it was.
Is it Glen Campbell?
It is.
It's Clan Campbell.
It is.
Is that what it is?
It's the tartan of Clan Campbell from Western
How
Scotland.
can that be right then? Because
Don't know.
Argyle doesn't look anything like tartan.
But maybe I don't know enough
suppose-
about different tartans.
Maybe, I mean, I've never seen a tartan that is anything other than squares,
Right.
you know, a crisscross of squares. I've never seen a tartan that's diamonds. I mean, I suppose if you tilted the tartan,
Yeah.
it would be a diamond, but it's
Yeah.
still, I don't know, diamonds are more like that, aren't they? Not a square, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, you're doing brilliantly well so far. It's only the first question you've got wrong. And now we're on to the Christmas
Oh,
questions.
thank goodness.
Woo!
Thank goodness. The pressure's off now, you see.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter if I get these wrong.
Now, this is actually a musical question.
Oh, no.
So for those of you at home, you can have a listen in the background to something very
Oh,
special.
right. I thought you meant it was a musical, as in...
No.
Right, okay.
In 2019, we concluded our season of new adventures with a trip to York Minster. We went in search of the lost recording of me singing a carol on BBC Radio 2 in 1987. Can you remember the name of the carol I was singing?
Yes.
Can you?
Yes. Come on, 2 points. I totally can. I think I can.
Do you know what? That makes me so happy.
Why?
It just does.
I think I can.
If ever there was a moment I was willing you to get that right.
Oh, no. Pressure's on
You're so
her, isn't
lovely.
it? That's okay.
So you did. Oh no, this is going to be awful now if you get it wrong.
I know if I get it wrong.
Oh, folks, this is too much.
I'm going to go for it
both-
because then I'll make up that point I've just lost, won't I?
Yeah.
I'm going to say it was the Sussex Carol.
Okay, it's locked in.
What should we hear the multiple choices now?
Okay,
That's what I'm saying. Locked in.
that's more exciting, isn't it?
Let's hear the choices now.
Okay, so the multiple choice options would have been the Canterbury Carol, the Suffolk Carol, the Coventry Carol, the Sussex Carol.
Oh gosh, my heart leapt then because the Coventry Carol is a carol. The other two I don't think are.
No, I know does that.
Oh, come on. Good wife. I get the Good Wife Award.
Right, it's time for question 8. In many countries of the world, it's traditional on Christmas Eve to hang stockings by the fireplace in the hope that Santa Claus might fill them with presents.
Yes.
Do you know why this tradition began?
No.
Right. So you'd like to hear the answers?
I've no idea.
Okay, so shall I give you your multiple choice answers?
Yes, please.
Okay, here we go. So, is it they are hung by the fire so to avoid Santa waking up the members of the house as he looks for their stockings?
No.
Is it they are requested by Papa Elf to be hung by the fire so Santa can get in and out of the house as quickly as possible?
Okay.
Is it they are hung by the fire so they might catch any Christmas coins which fall out of Santa's pockets as he slides down the chimney? Or is it they're hung by the fire so Santa can warm himself as he fills each stocking with presents?
Gosh. And it's actually one of those things.
It is.
The coin thing sounds like it might be right, doesn't it? But then why would Santa have coins? But then maybe he would put coins in the stockings. And it's the extra ones would drop in. I felt like it was going to be something to do with coal. I don't know. Tell me again.
So the choices are:
And I will eliminate.
were they hung by the fire so to avoid Santa waking up the members of the house as he looks for their stockings?
No, I don't think so.
Are they requested by Papa Elf to be hung by the fire so Santa can get in and out of each house as quickly as possible?
I don't think so. When you say Papa Elf, it just makes me laugh. So it just makes me think of the film Elf.
With Bob Newhart?
Yeah.
Yes.
Papa Elf. So let's say no for that one.
Are they hung by the fire so they might catch any Christmas coins which fall out of Santa's pockets as he slides down the chimney?
Okay.
Or are they hung by the fire so Santa can warm himself as he fills each stocking with presents?
Okay, let's go with the coin thing.
Okay.
Yes.
Locked in?
Let's say that. Yes,
Okay.
please, yes.
Right. So Kay has locked in that they're hung by the fire so they might catch any Christmas coins which fall out of Santa's pockets as he slides down the chimney. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before I tell you the answer to this question, before I tell you if Kay's right, I'd like you to just stop and consider what people sometimes purchase in the shops to put in Christmas stockings.
Chocolate coins.
So that must tell you that, of course, she's correct.
I never thought about that. So that's where that comes from.
That's exactly where that comes from.
Wow.
Yes.
So let's all hope that Santa puts...
Let's hope he drops out.
Let's hope they drop out of his pockets this year, because we could all do with some of that Santa
I know.
good fortune, couldn't we?
The problem, though, is, I don't know why, but the chocolate always seems to be a bit rubbish in the chocolate coins nowadays.
Yeah, the chocolate's always a bit rubbish, isn't it? You know, and I do think that there must be some manufacturers out there that produce good chocolate coins, you know, like green and blacks or something.
Yeah.
I've never seen any.
No.
It's always cheap bags in a net, isn't it?
Yeah.
That are always a bit yucky.
Yeah, I know. So here's...
Campaign for good chocolate coins.
Yes, definitely,
Yes.
definitely. Okay, you're doing brilliantly here.
I'm doing brilliantly well.
Yes.
Right.
You are.
Okay.
Because you've only got one wrong. It's time for another picture question.
Oh, yay.
Yes. This is actress Amy Sedaris and the super cute baby Yoda.
Yes.
Taken from season 1 of the TV series The Mandalorian.
Yes.
But which of our favourite Christmas movies does she
Really?
also appear in?
Really?
Yes.
Look at baby Yoda. Oh.
He's so cute. Look,
Oh my gosh, he's
having a little
literally
laugh.
the cutest
Look at that
thing
picture.
in history. Do you know, I don't know.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to see the multiples.
Your choices are as follows. Did she appear in The Christmas Card?
Ah,
Did she appear in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
right.
Did she appear in Elf? Or did she appear in The Holiday? Do you recognise her?
I don't recognise her, but she's obviously... I mean, The Holiday wasn't that long ago, was it? And Elf's not that long ago.
It's longer ago than you think.
Really?
Yeah.
When was Elf?
It might be 15 years.
No.
Yeah, it will be.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, National Lampoon's, that is some time ago, isn't it? So
Yes.
she would be fairly young woman.
Yes.
You know, could it be the boss's wife? Could it, the one who says the blue leash suit? Could it be her? Elf? I mean, there are a number of people in Elf, aren't there? But... Oh! Could it be the secretary in Elf?
Isn't that the woman who Elf says, your face is so pretty, you could go on a Christmas card?
Yeah. Oh, you've made my day. Who's that lady? Oh, I think I'm going to go with that, actually.
Okay.
Yes, let's go with that.
Okay, so the possible answers were The Holiday, which Kay's is discounted, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which she said definitely not, The Christmas Card, which is one of our absolute favourite
We love
Christmas
that film,
films.
and I'm going to have a search again and see if I can find it on DVD.
The last time I looked for it on DVD, it was a fortune.
Oh, really?
It's one of those films which
like
has music playing all the way through.
it's like a Hallmark type Christmas film, but we absolutely love it, don't we?
It is,
We just
brilliant.
love it. I'm going to have another look for that.
And of course, Santa
from
Elf.
It's her dad, isn't it?
Is her dad in The Christmas Card?
Yeah, he's quite a big actor, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, yeah. But
Right.
Kay has said Elf.
I'm going to go Elf.
She's locked in with Elf. And you've even actually nailed it down to a specific character.
Yeah.
You think that Amy
His
Sedaris
dad's secretary.
it's James Caan, isn't it, who plays his dad? Did Amy Sedaris play James Caan's secretary in Elf? Is she correct? Yes, she is! And here is a picture of her.
Oh my gosh!
There she is.
Wow, so it must be some time ago.
Yeah.
Because she looks really young.
Yeah,
there.
I know. Right, it's time for question 10.
Really?
It's the last one.
Okay.
And, I mean, you've done superbly well.
Thank you very much.
Have you got any wrong?
Yes, I got one wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I did
Sorry.
get one wrong.
Sorry.
Yeah, but then I've scored 2 points,
Yeah. So hopefully you're
I
going to
have
get
got
10.
one wrong. Yeah,
Hopefully
and I'm
you're gonna-
hoping Instagram won't let me down.
Yes. Okay, so question 10.
Yeah.
On December the 16th, 1965, NASA's Gemini 6A spaceflight broadcast the first ever song from space. It was a popular Christmas song,
Right.
but can you name it?
Not a clue, no.
Okay.
I haven't heard of this, so I do love spacey things. So. Anyway, go on.
Okay, so the possible answers are Christmas Kisses.
Right, okay.
You know the one by
I
Marty
do know
Robbins.
the one, yeah.
Hark the Herald Angels Sing,
Okay.
Little Drummer Boy,
Right.
or Jingle Bells?
Gosh.
The first ever song.
I feel like
broadcast
it would be
from
more
space.
of a classical thing. I can't see them playing Jingle Bells. That's a bit jolly, isn't it, to be playing from space? I want to say Hark the Herald Angels Sing. What were the other ones?
So your choices are Christmas Kisses,
I don't think it's that.
Hark the Herald Angels Sing,
Yeah.
Little Drummer Boy, or Jingle Bells.
Maybe they would play Jingle Bells because everybody would know that. And maybe not everybody would know Hark the Herald Angels Sing. Is that more of a British thing or is that more of a universal thing? I don't know. Let's go Jingle Bells then.
Okay.
Okay,
We're
let's go
locking it
Jingle
in.
Bells.
It's locked in, people.
It's a jolly little song, isn't it?
It's a very jolly song, and there's some wonderful versions of it over the years.
Right.
Similarly, though, there's been some wonderful versions of Hark the Herald Angels Sing. I'm thinking of one by Frank Sinatra in particular that's
Yeah, I
lovely.
mean, I love that carol.
Also, Little Drummer Boy. Christmas Kisses, I'm
Is
only
that the
aware.
one that goes bum 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 bum? I
Yeah.
don't like it. I don't like that one.
No,
I don't
think
know why.
It's one of those ones that you either love it or you don't love it.
No, I don't love it.
So Kate has locked in Jingle Bells. Is she correct? Has she finished with a correct answer? Yes, she has!
It was Jingle Bells!
It was in fact
I wonder
Jingle
if there's
Bells.
anybody watching that heard that.
Well,
it's perfectly possible.
Absolutely there is. We would love to know. Tell us in the comments below
If you heard Jingle Bells from space
in 1965.
in 1965,
10 years before I was born.
just a few years before I was born.
Oh, come on.
Not as many as 10.
6.
6.
So you've done tremendously well, but have you got 10 out of 10? This
Oh,
all
I need
now.
to check. I need to check.
She's currently
Instagram.
on 9.
Come on.
So we are returning to the question, which Kay...
12 answers.
Wow. Okay, so
One of them says, no idea, but he's handsome.
the question was question 4, and it's take a look at this handsome devil. He has a broad muzzle and a slight Roman nose. He's hornless, and he has no wool on his head or legs. What breed of sheep is he?
Well,
Do you have an answer that you are
Well-
comfortable going with?
everybody very kindly has said BFL, Saratoga Knitting, Abby and Bella's mum, Joe Martin, Thistlestick, Stitch Village.
Has anyone said anything other than that?
No.
Right.
Everybody said, and Joe even looked up a photo for me.
Right.
Joe, you're a star. So, thank you everybody. I'm going to trust everyone and say BFL.
Okay, so is this handsome devil a blue-faced Leicester? Yes, it is!
Thank you everybody.
Oh my goodness! What an amazing round!
I only got one wrong.
You got one wrong. You answered one without
silly
hearing the
Pringle
answer.
top.
I know. But you've used 2 lifelines along the way.
I did.
So, or did you use 3?
No, I used 2.
You only used 2.
I didn't text a friend.
Cool. Oh my goodness, there's the music. So what a wonderful start. Kay has scored 10, so that means next time,
The crown is mine.
it means next time. It's well within my reach. Will I win it? Well, we'll find out next time when I play my wonderful round of Knit or Forfeit. So thank you so
Thanks,
much
everyone.
for watching, and we'll see you next time for more of the wonderful quiz show just for knitters. Yes, it's been Knit or Forfeit. Oh my goodness, what a round! And for those of you wondering about the Christmas card, I've linked it in the show notes below because Kay's found it.
I found it on YouTube.
Yes. That was one of the films that we referenced in the question about Amy Sedaris. The Christmas Card's one of our favourite Christmas films. We actually, the first time we watched that was years ago, and we spoke about it on the show in our What's on Your Christmas TV segment that we used to do.
Right.
Because I remember talking about it. So we found it and it's linked to the show notes, but it's marvellous. But what about the Argyle sweaters?
I know. Who knew?
So I looked up
Glenn Campbell.
the tartan of... Oh... What?
I was sat there thinking, Glenn Campbell, isn't he a singer? But I thought it must be like something else as well. I see him as like a beardy chap, but I might be completely
I can't
wrong.
remember. But no. It was the tartan of Clan Campbell, not Glenn Campbell. What a fool.
No.
What an amazing round, though. 10 out of 10.
Well, no, it was actually 9 out of 10, but then I got 2 points
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I didn't get them all right, did I?
This is a stretching but achievable target.
Right, so you've got to get...
I've either got to get them all right and answer one without.
Yeah.
But what I could do is I could get 4 wrong and answer 6 without seeing the multiple choice
Do you
answers.
think that's likely?
There's many combinations of how I could win.
I think the crown looks so good on me that really it does need to stay on my head.
Well, we're going to have to wait and see, aren't we? Because the competition is most certainly not over. And I want to, because 2018 was all me. Do you remember that was the moment when, I couldn't even believe that I'd won.
2000.
No, 2019 you won.
Oh, sorry,
2018
yes.
I won.
Right.
That's the first time we did it properly.
Right.
2019.
Yeah.
And now 2020, yes, I think it's time that it came back. Look, that's enough. Because there's more Knit or Forfeit next time. Yes, it will be my round. Kay will be asking the questions, and at the end, we will find out who the champion of 2020 is. Because now it's time for the Endy Bits.
Wow, and it's already.
I can officially confirm that the filming for the Bakery Bears Advent Calendar has begun. Oh yes, it's highly exciting. I cannot wait, and the excitement is building, ready for our 1st of December launch. That's going to be amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, the reason why I'm telling you this is because I'm thrilled to confirm that in the next episode of the video show, out in 2 weeks' time, there will be a little sneaky peek of the Advent Calendar.
Right.
A little trailer. A little taster before the fun then begins on the 1st of December. How exciting.
And I'm even more excited this week. That was another brilliant thing that happened, actually, just this last week, is I finished the Advent design.
Yes.
I finished it. The pattern is largely written.
So the Advent design that Kay's referring to is, of course, the one that is part of the Bakery Bears Advent Calendar.
Yeah.
So half of the Bakery Bears Advent Calendar is a mystery knit-along.
Yes.
Which is this Advent design.
And this is completely exclusive to the Advent Calendar.
Yes.
You do, at the end of it, you will get the full pattern.
Yes.
You know, you get a little portion of it every day, and then on the last day you will get the full pattern.
Yes.
But it is a mystery knit-along, so it's not something that will ever be released as a for purchase pattern.
Like all your platinum patterns.
Yeah. And it's just worked out brilliantly well. And lovely, I told you about the yarns actually last time, but lovely Susie at Elderflower Stitches, she put actually some kits together, and I think there might still be some in her shop. I think she did another batch. So if you're interested in that, have a look at Elderflower Stitches shop.
But if they're wanting to choose their own yarn,
yes,
then what's your advice?
Well, you need 10 20 gram, I won't say minis because they don't have to be minis, but you need 10 times 20 grams of fingering weight yarn.
And colours that would work best?
Well, just nothing too dark.
Right.
I wouldn't go with dark colours.
Right.
And I wouldn't go with variegated.
Right.
So you want to stick with tonals, with semi-solids, or very lightly speckled.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so brights are okay. Just, I would stay away from the darks, really.
So we will have a little trailer for you in the next Bakery Bears video show in 2 weeks that will be getting ready then, as we said, for the launch on the 1st. But you've also bought some...
I bought a couple of things.
Lovely yarn.
One thing I was really excited about, and then I've seen it knit up somewhere, I think, on Instagram, and I'm not so sure now. I saw this at Wool Warehouse. I bought this from. I was buying something else, and I saw this, and I thought, oh, that looks interesting. And it's by Rico. It's a sock weight yarn, and it's called Superba Vintage. And this colour is number 5, colourway number 5, and you can see it's this kind of, it looks kind of like hand-dyed, doesn't it, a little bit?
Yeah.
I was excited about that.
But you've seen something you don't like.
I saw somebody knit up, it was a different colourway to this, but there was a pair of socks I saw, I think on Instagram, that somebody had knit up recently, and the pooling was absolutely horrific.
Oh no.
That's not to say that would happen with me, because everybody knits differently. So I'm not going to dismiss it out of hand just because I've seen one photo.
It might be a while before you cast it off.
Well, I think what I'll probably do is maybe search around and see if I can find anybody else. I'll look on Ravelry maybe and see if I can see anybody else that's knit it up.
Right.
And if I can see a few people that's knit socks and it pulls for all of them, I will probably then just decide to use it in scrappy projects, which, is fine. It looks like a nice yarn.
This looks phenomenal.
Yeah, well, this yarn I saw on Instagram again from a friend, and she was knitting a pair of socks in this yarn, and I was like, what is that yarn? And when I saw it, I thought, this is going to be from America, and I'm not going to be able to get any. And I looked at it, and I hadn't heard of the dyer, but to my absolute delight, I found out that it was a UK dyer. It's a self-striping yarn. And so I thought, right, well, okay, it's a UK dyer, but I bet there's none in a shop. So I went and had a look, and there wasn't, but she did say she was going to put up another pre-order at the end of October. So I put a note in my diary for when it was going to be, jumped on there straight away, and I got a skein.
Wow.
So I was thrilled. And it's from Dragon Hill Studio. That's the dyer. Dragon Hill Studio. And the colourway is called Twinkling Lights, and she winds them into cakes for you, and you can see from the outside how it's going to stripe. Look, so you get silver, gold, red, green, and then that speckled, which is like coloured lights on a tree.
This is perfect.
Isn't it lovely? And it knits up just like that in stripes. It's gorgeous. So I was thrilled to get one, and it's brilliant that it's caked. However, it's caked, for me, it's really tight. So I wanted to show you in all its prettiness, really, but I'm going to recake it because for me it's just too, I feel like it's like kind of like a rock, and it's quite, you can tell it's quite small really for 100 grams.
Yeah.
So that's what's telling me it's wound quite tightly.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to rewind it, because I don't like yarn being wound this tight, because I'm hoping to get it cast on this year, but you just never know, dear. I never know what mood I'm going to be in, so just to be on the safe side, I'm just going to rewind it. But it's gorgeous, and I was thrilled, absolutely thrilled to get a skein. I think it's just beautiful. Love it, and it's sparkly, so gorgeous.
For those of you who haven't caught it already, the Bakery Bears radio show came out last Friday, of course, and we're finishing off our 3-episode arc where we were really digging into our perfect home and perfect garden, and the last episode we've just done is our perfect kitchen. So that's available for you to listen to right now. And the next episode of the radio show will be out next week, and then, of course, the week after that, we'll be back with the next episode of the Bakery Bears video show featuring my successful round where I remove the crown from your head and place it upon my own as I win Knit or Forfeit.
Really?
So don't miss that.
I've got one more thing to say. I just wanted to let you know briefly about the Dunbrock socks that I showed on the last episode. They're almost through testing now, so I'll be having that pattern out, available to purchase in the next few days, I'm hoping. So I would say keep an eye on my Instagram feed if you follow me there, because I will post as soon as it's available for purchase, because I know a lot of you have been asking me about those socks, and thank you so much for just telling me how much you really like them and looking forward to knitting them. So it shouldn't be that many more days really until they're out.
Because last time we saw you, I don't think you had a name.
No. We did put it up on the screen, but I know that, like me, a lot of you were sort of knitting at the same time,
so you might not have seen
what the name was. So yes, I called them Dunbrock, because Dunbrock is the magical kingdom where Merida lives in the film Brave, and the socks to me had a very Scottish feel.
Colour and
the
everything.
Colour sort of went with her hair, and the fact that they're now living in Edinburgh as well, it just all tied in, and I think
and the fact that the person who wears them loves Disney.
She does.
Yes.
So all of that together sort of, it just worked just perfectly.
So those lovely socks are the
Dunbrock, and they will be out within the next sort of few days.
Imminent. And
imminent.
I mean, I've never seen a picture go quite so crazy on Instagram as that one you posted.
I had such lovely response.
Yeah.
It was...
It's a wonderful pattern. It looks so amazing.
Thrilling. Yeah, I love knitting them, and I hope you will all love knitting up a pair as well. It's a perfect time of year as well to knit socks like this, I think.
So we'll also post, when those are available, we'll post on Facebook, and we'll also do a public post on our Patreon page as well.
And they go on the website as well, don't they?
Oh, they all every.
Yeah.
If you want to find the absolute, perfect source for all of Kay's patterns in one place, then you head to the Bakery Bears website and you click on patterns.
Yes.
Because every pattern that you've ever produced is all there.
And as with all of my patterns, when it goes out for purchase, it'll be on Ravelry and it'll be on Love Crafts as well. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Folks, that's it. Thank you so much for watching.
Thanks, everyone.
Stay safe, stay well, and above all, stay happy.
Yes.
Oh, yes. And we'll see you in 2 weeks for more.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
And knitting, it's Dan and Kay, the Bakery Bears. Enthusiasm's not quitting for Dan and Kay, the Bakery Bears. They'll take you to fabulous places of which their favorites they'll share. You better buy a pattern and get yourself a Bakery Bear. You'll find yourself in a castle while watching the Bakery Bears. It never feels like a hassle to sit and watch the Bakery Bears. What's on your shelf or what's in